I'd like to start off by welcoming the latest member of the Auburn basketball family. Amy and Harris Adler had their second son, Mason Jacks, last night, and everybody is doing well over at East Alabama Medical Center. Before we get on a plane today to go to South Carolina, we're gonna visit with them. And this is Harris's scout, so we're gonna have to get this one without him. And it's going to be a tough one to get. South Carolina is it'll probably be as good an environment and as tough a matchup for us as we face this year. Obviously, defensively, they're terrific, and they're also really physical offensively. The way they screen and the way they pin down, the way they post, and Thornwell has become, one of the league's very best players. A great example of a guy that, that paid his dues, Obviously, he started Oak Hill Academy, so it's not like he wasn't a pretty highly thought of kid coming in, but he wasn't a one and done or a two and done or anything like that. There was not a lot of discussion about that. He just kept on grinding and getting better, and he's going to be a good pro. He is really a productive player. So you got to handle South Carolina's pressure. You've got to be able to try to score without turning the ball over, and you just got to buckle your chin strap.
Defensively, what stands out about them is just the pressure and the length that
they have? Well, they're first of all they're unlike anybody else in our league, where they will deny the first pass on every pass. So they don't let you reverse it, they don't let you enter it, and so nobody else does that. So therefore, you've got to have different things in your package to go up against them, because it's like blitzing every down. It was a great weekend. It was one of my better weekends at Auburn, just personally, even just from the standpoint of getting D'Angelo back, watching Austin in his first game against Alabama have such a dominant effort, see the team continue to come together. The last 8 minutes of the game, we played really well, and to see the culmination of what the crowd's capable of doing, and then the joy that everybody experienced in the post game. It was just a fun thing to be a part of, and it was a wonderful thing to just to enjoy it with them. And getting the 2 wins we had to get. We didn't back away from the fact that these were games that we needed to get to stay to remain in position to do what we want to try to do, and let's get this team to postseason. And then personally, I had a lot of family, and I had a lot of friends and family, and it was fun that got to share it with them too. No, that's a conversation between Charles and Austin, and let's just say that this won't be their last conversation, and hopefully they'll go down as two of the really good ones to ever play here.
Bruce, how much difference does a confident Bryce Brown make you guys? I mean, obviously offensively, but watching him play defensively Saturday was
Well, Bryce does. It's great to have him back, and Bryce gives us a real dimension. We can match Bryce up against really good guards and really good players, and you're just going to have a hard time scoring against Bryce Brown, period. And then the second thing is, because he is such a good shooter, you have to account for him, and it's just that dimension, that threat makes everybody else better, because if you stay on him, then the lane's open. If you leave him, he's going to punish you for leaving him. So it's good. We're better. We're better with Bryce on the floor.
D'Angelo was just How encouraging is it to see him pull that first 9?
Did he stay at Holiday Inn Express last night to determine that he had 10 minutes in his rotation? I didn't realize that he was on a 10-minute count. Otherwise, obviously, I then must have ignored doctor's orders. Yeah, it was great to get him back, and I yelled at him more in that game than I have all year, because I expect so much from him, and I know what he's capable of, and make winning plays in many, many ways, but it was we just got to build on this now. Offensively, he lets me and us do a lot of things that we can't do without him. And then defensively, he can guard multiple positions. And so you guard inside. And when South Carolina goes small with Thornwell at the 4, I mean, they're big at times, and then when he plays the 4, they're sometimes even more dangerous. I mean, it's a great combination. So having versatility at that position is important to be able to go up against South Carolina.
It did seem like you didn't know this timetable for return was 4 or 5 weeks, and suddenly he's back in a week and a half. I mean, that seemed like
Let's
you were concerned about.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we're past it, let's to be just and not to be at all correcting you. It was 3-4 weeks, and it was 2 weeks. So it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks. But when I kept on saying from the very beginning, he's progressing faster than we thought. We had heard 3-4 weeks, and I think the reason was he had such swelling. And if you watch the injury, he rolled it over pretty good. But I think within 4 or 5 days, we were starting to comment about, boy, he's really responding to the treatment. And the swelling went down, and it went down fast. And the second thing is, he's not been in pain for over a week. So he had a week of pain-free. And I think we probably could have taped him up and played him earlier than we did. There's no way he could have gone 29 minutes if that hadn't been the case. So, no, we're fortunate to have gotten him back in that time frame. And as I said, probably even after the LSU game, if that was a game that was a tournament game, the last game of the year or something like that, if it was for a championship, we could have played him. I mean, he could have played. Ronnie has gave us a real calming effect, and played real confidence. He's a real threat to be able to score. With the ball in his hands, he can shoot it, he can go by you, and he's able to find the open man. And then defensively, he's willing to make plays. I mean, he understands you got to make stops and things like that. And so, it was the fact that he didn't turn it over against Alabama, that shot such a good percentage. He's money from the foul line. The fact that I have both Jared and Ronnie to go with, and the fact that they're both quick point guards and hard to stay in front of in ball screen. I can call any ball screen I want, and either one of them can be effective in it. And so it was great. It was great for Ronnie, and I think that again, not being where he's not starting right now, he can have real impact, and that was again, why was it from the standpoint of the weekend? Anthony McEnroe had a career high against LSU. He was sick for the Alabama game, had a fever and had to go get some IV and wound up playing, and we weren't sure he could play. Horace Spencer had 11 points and 7 rebounds and 3 blocks against LSU and changed his position, and we won. D'Angelo came back. Austin played well. Dunnins continues to do what he do. Bryce is shooting better. We had 2 point guards playing well. Mustafa turned it on the second half. Well, a lot of things that happened this weekend that turned into 2 wins. A lot of things have to happen to have good wins, but that was, I think we're best when everybody contributes, and I think you could see that there were a lot of different contributions out there.
You referenced it with a young, even inexperienced team with the quote-unquote veterans. Was it important that last 8-month stretch for the guys to point to that and say we can do that, especially on the defensive end before it can happen? Like it can be contagious.
It can, Now that said, look at what we got coming up. We've got to go to South Carolina, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the country, and they're selling out. We got to go to TCU, and they've only lost to 5 teams in the NCAA tournament. And we got Tennessee at home, and they play as hard as anybody in our league right now. That's the hardest playing team in the league. And then we go back to Alabama. Those are our next 4 games. So that's the reward you get for winning 2 at home and having to turn around. But that's the grind. That's the beauty of it. That's the grind. At the same time, the next 2 opponents have RPIs that are both under 30 something. And so, that's the opportunity. Again, we are, whatever today's date is, tomorrow's the 24th of January. We're almost in February, and we're playing for postseason at Auburn. And that's where we want to be. And so now the question is, are we good enough to take advantage of it? After the game against Alabama, I said 2 weeks ago we had no chance to go to South Carolina and even compete. We weren't playing well enough. And I said, now I think we're better. A few weeks later, we have a chance to go and compete against the schedule right now. A few weeks ago, we didn't.
You mentioned Thornwell's versatility. Do you see any similarities between him and Danielle in that respect?
I would compare him more to Mustafa. I would say that and this is not taking anything away from Mustafa. Mustafa's probably better than Thornwell when Thornwell was a freshman. But in a year or two, Mustafa could be a lot like him in the sense that he's got just a different level of big boy and explosiveness. Mustafa's a better shooter. But, Thornwell goes in there and he get his. He rebounds his own. He is, an impossible one-on-one cover. And I definitely see Mustafa being Thornwell sooner than Thornwell's senior year, but that's who I would compare him to. But, right now, Thornwell's one of the best players in the league, and Mustafa's clearly one of the best freshmen.
You mentioned before Alabama, the kind of contrast between your preferred pace of play and theirs. South Carolina is another team near Alabama, just statistically speaking, in possession program.
Yeah.
Do you expect the same sort of contrast?
Well, Frank Martin's not going to change his style of play, and they, they're going to do what they do, and I don't know that we can speed them up any because on the road, but we got to be able to handle their pressure. We got to be able to find ways to score. We got to pick up our physicality, and we can't start. It's very difficult to go on the road and play a team in the top 2 or 3 in the league and not start well. We have to start well. And that's been a problem. It's been a problem for us a little bit, especially as young as we start. So those are the challenges that we've got. And
Do you see a similarity between the way Frank kind of built this thing in South Carolina, tearing the roster down, have his first 2 years, and then kind of creeping up the last 3, and what you're trying to do here? I said it might be a read, so sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't. It could be. I just don't. Is it Frank Sinatra said I'm gonna do it my way?
Yeah.
So Frank can do it his way, and I'll do it my way. And if he did it that way, great. I just, I don't know how he did it, so I just know how I have to try to do it. And if that's the way he did it, that's the way I'm doing it, and it's good.